Welcome to Workshop Goals. I'm Brad, and today we've got some awesome progress going on in the CNC room, hanging some ceiling joists. I had to deal with some uninvited guests, and I also have an update on a major structural issue that I was so worried about. So let's get into it. Probably the number one comment on the CNC video was, Brad, you're an idiot. You're gonna hate yourself for putting the CNC back there before you finish the drywall. Guess what? Today's the day you get to see me hate myself. So we're gonna try to move this thing. And listen, I know we knew it wasn't the right thing to do, but it was coming. We didn't want to delay it. And so now we're dealing with it. But I went ahead and I got some of these equipment movers from Vevor, which are pretty cool. But it's just this big heavy duty polyurethane rollers on the bottom. And each of these bad boys will hold, I don't know, a few thousand pounds. And the total machine is only about 3,000 pounds. So the idea is we're gonna jack it up, try to put the feet on these movers, and then move it. Easier said than done though, because I don't have a floor jack, but we do have a pallet jack. So let's see how it works. All right, so I got a little 2x4 underneath the pallet jack, which is just about the height of the back legs. And we're just gonna stick it in there and see what happens. All right, come on. I cannot steer a pallet jack without hitting the drywall. Come, you're almost there. You're almost there, buddy. All right, I got one leg under there. Let's just see what happens. It is lifting. That's fantastic. I'm just realizing that I need to be further away from that foot to put the thing under there. This looks like this is gonna work. And we're up in the air over here. That's the nice thing about this machine is it's super stiff. And that's one of the reasons I really was excited about it is because the base is like solid steel. It's not, you know, like 80-40 or whatever. Whoa, okay. All right, I think this might actually be easier than I thought. All right, so what do these things do? They just, okay, I guess they just rotate. All right, I should be able to just lift this up and put the back on. I wonder if I should probably put that one on too, right? Since they're both gonna be up in the air. Get this one too. All right, here goes nothing. There we go. I don't know, I don't like this. This is getting dicey, but whatever. That is perfect. Let me slowly let this down. That worked amazingly well. This is, I think this is a testament to the stoutness of the machine. This whole thing is just, like I said, it wasn't racking at all. We're just lifting on that back point and lifted that whole side, which is pretty cool. So now I need to move the cabinet over here so we can get around it. All right, hopefully this wire, that shouldn't get in the way because it'll lift with it. All right, let's try it out. Just gonna lift it this time. That is much easier than trying to steer it. Oh no. Okay, I think we're all right. I think we're all right. Oh yeah. Here we go. There we go. Eat your heart out, comment section. Ooh, that's gonna, yeah. Hopefully that will land on the feet. got a CNC on wheels. And that took what, 5 minutes? 6? Under 5. So all you people in the comments talking about how hard this was gonna be and I'm so dumb. You didn't say I was dumb, but you just, you know, we know what we're doing. All right, I just gotta disconnect all the hoses and whatnot. Also in the comments, you've let me know that one of my favorite words apparently is bad boy. Because I was just about to say, let's move this bad boy. Okay. All right. About through the loom. I'm just gonna push this thing and just see. I mean, I can't imagine I'm gonna be able to just push it and move it, but let's try. I need to find a part that is, what about just the gantry? Yeah, let's try something. Just trying to figure out which side I'm not gonna, oh, please. This thing moves like a dream. So the tops of these things swivel. And I thought they were gonna be hard to turn, but apparently they're very easy to turn. So this is just gonna be a dance of moving this guy forward and pulling this. I gotta be honest, I'm pretty impressed with how this is going. This one is completely turned sideways. Hard to pull when one of them is literally 90 degrees where it should be. So this top here, this part spins, and I think that's part of the problem. Yeah, but that makes it kind of easy to move. That thing, why is that thing moving so? Oh, I bet we got a low spot. I bet we got a low spot in the concrete right here. That's why that's doing that. Yeah. That's about where we need it. Let's go see how much room we got. Oh yeah. So the front of it before was right about here. So we probably move it up a couple more feet if we need to. We got so much room for activities out here. Actually, I might move it up just so I can access the doorway, and then we can pallet jack the huge compressor out of here and the vacuum pump. But that is amazing. Who knew? You could literally, one person, a pallet jack, and some machine movers, you can move a 3,200 pound CNC by yourself. I think the pallet forks are just short enough to go under this, or just narrow enough, I guess. Oh yeah. All right. All right. I think we're ready to put some ceiling up now. Or at least some joists. There's been something I've been dealing with around the shop for a long time now. It all started the beginning of this year, last year, whatever, the beginning of 2025, after we had gotten it built. And once we got the porch up, we started getting some birds. and they nested, and you can actually see all the bird crap all up there. What happened is some starlings got up into that soffit because it was kind of left open. And if you've ever had any kind of soffit that's open, like that's what starlings love to do. So we were having to just deal with them for months and months, waiting for them to leave the nest, and they're just crapping everywhere. So as soon as they left, I put up a bunch of netting, and that worked for a while. So I installed netting, started up in that spot where they were nesting, and then just put it all up here because this is all just exposed soffit. And everything was okay, but then we started noticing, you could see some of the kind of, I don't know, debris and things up there. And then one day when we showed up, there was actually a bird stuck in it. A week later, there's another bird kind of flying around in there. And what we found out is that they're actually getting in. They have made a little hole and they're getting back in there. That's one of the things about starlings as I started doing some research is that they always come back to the same spot to nest. So I'm gonna staple this up here and get it nice and tight. Eventually it's gonna be all, you know, capped in with a nice tongue and groove ceiling and all that stuff. But in the meantime, I want these freaking birds nesting in here, so we gotta do a little bit of repairs. All right, so I'm pretty sure this is where they're getting in, right here. So I'm just gonna send in a few staples here. It's like trying to stop water, trying to stop these stinking birds. They can't get through the netting, and actually some of them have gotten caught in the netting and died, which is not fun. The idea is just to get it as tight as possible, and if we see more birds in here, then I'll take other measures, but stapling is what we got right now. I think they're going into there. See if that works. With the CNC out of the way, now I can get up here and start putting in some of the ceiling joists. One of the things I wish I had done when I put this one up is actually mark the layout of the joist, because now I got to go up there and do it now. So I'm going to do that first, and then for the other ones, I think laying it out on the ground, and we're going to be using joist hangers and actually attaching the joist hangers before we attach the joist up, or the rim joist, is going to make things way easier. But on this one, we'll just have to do it the hard way. All right, so we have our rim joist here, and we're gonna be just doing 24 inches on the center. So I'm just gonna start marking them down there, and then we'll come back, and I'm actually gonna have to hand nail these things because the compressor, which we unplugged, and then my other compressor is at home. Could do some nice manual real world nailing today. OSHA speed right there. Now the way that these are going, it's interesting actually. We have, because this is gonna be 24 on center and these are 16 on center, so basically we should be landing on a joist for this guy, in the middle of the next kind of two, and then back on a joist. So 24 on center and 16 on center, they match up every other 24-inch joist. That's a nice way to just keep yourself honest. All right, so we are gonna be using joist hangers, and these are the LUS26. A few different types of joist hangers, actually. I think the other version has 3 nails on each side if you're just going straight in, but this version crisscrosses, and you only need to use 4 of them if you do it that way. So what I wanna do is get a little piece of scrap 2x6. I'll just wanna cut this straight on one edge. So now what I can do when I'm putting these in place is basically just put this 2x6 in there, and then that's gonna make sure, because they're a little bit flexy. And so I'll just get it the right size, tack it up there, and this will just be our little spacer block. And I need to get a pocket full of nails. All right, these are the nails we're using. Some 10D 3-inch nails. These are Pop Dip galvanized. We don't necessarily need because we're inside, but we got it. In case it starts raining in here, we'll be good. So here's a little visual representation of how this is gonna work. These come in at the side. Nail that bad boy right there. This one right here. And so when these are fully in, they're gonna be crisscrossing it basically right at the face of that rim joist and then going into the rim joist. And it's a really strong, secure connection. So pretty cool how they designed that. This is actually my first time hanging rim joist on kind of the continuous piece like this. I did it in the shed, but it was all, you know, just singular pieces, not stitched together pieces. So actually, if I put this here, it's hanging over. So I guess I'm gonna have to wait till I put the next one in. And I don't know if I should be cutting these on the stud or not. I can see the benefits of it, but I think I might just put a backing plate when I put the next one in here to make sure that they're all joined nicely together. Maybe I'll just put a little stitch of 2x6 in there. I think that should be okay. I mean, it's all getting carried onto the studs, so I think that should be okay. But we'll just start down here at this next one. So if I put my 2x6 on my layout line, I shouldn't have cut this so long. Yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt. I'm gonna cut this shorter because this is too long. It's wanting to fall off on me. All right, this is much better. Now I can put this piece up here and not have it want to fall off. Then put the hanger on there. So this would be way, way easier doing it on the ground. Flush on the bottom. This looks a lot easier on TV. I wonder if I could just do it this way. Up here and just eyeball it. It's got these little pieces that you can knock in to kind of tack it in place. I like to move, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, that does not grip in there at all. Especially when you don't hit it. There we go. Very well, friend. Really wish I hadn't dropped that. Ooh, got a little rain outside. I think this is good enough. Honestly, I'm probably gonna go check out an RR Buildings video on how to install these because I thought this was gonna be a lot easier, but it's not. But let's just tag this one in here and see. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Because I'll be flying out of that. I think we're gonna take a rain break and I'm gonna make sure, because I just realized if I start doing this, these are just gonna blow out the back. Is that what you're supposed to do? Or should I have been using 1.5 inch nails on the face? Need to check that out. All right. After these messages, we'll be right back. All right, so I did a little bit of quick research, and yes, indeed, you should be using 1.5 inch screws into a 2x rim joist. If you had like them double stacked, then you could just go ahead and use the 3. So got some of these guys, but also I saw another cool tip while I was just kind of cruising around online, and it was about using this little block, which a lot of people use to set those joists up. But if you put a little piece on top, so that then you could set on top of the rim joist, and that holds it perfectly in place, top to bottom. And I thought that is a fantastic idea. So I cut a little strip here, and let's just pray that this doesn't split. All right, and just a little piece of scrap on top that you can sit on top of the rim. Now look at that. We'll just put it right up there. It's gonna be perfect. I hope. All right, let's check it out. This is a fantastic idea because you just put that right there, line it up on my line. I got 2 free hands. And now, I'm not even gonna pop those in. I'm just gonna go straight to the screw and not even put in the little, I forget what they're called, speed tabs or something. Actually, I'm gonna take that back. This here, I'm still gonna have to squeeze that in. Why is that falling all of a sudden? For whatever reason, this will not stay up there. This is the weirdest thing. Because when I stuck it up there the first time, it just stuck like a friggin' magnet. And now, I'm speechless. So basically, I'm just gonna cut this in half because I think there's just too much weight in the back, and if I cut it in half, then it should be fine. All right, this is our new improved skinny version, and it works a little bit better. It hangs up there. So if you're cutting a piece, don't make it too long. That's the moral of the story. So if I get this guy on here, now, this thing, there we go. This is not all it's cracked up to be. I think this is like a crooked tip. So just fighting with everything. If I can kind of line that up, punch in these holes. All right. The tips on these screws are not great soft tapping. Or else this Southern Pine is just extremely strong. There we go. There we go. All right, so now we get a hanger ready for a 2x6. 8 more to go, and then we can do the rest on the ground. What are you supposed to do when the nail hole lands in a knot? All right, in this episode of Lumber That Stinks, I lucked out because we have a huge knot and a void here, and I couldn't put the screw in there because there's basically nothing to go into, but we were on top of the joist. So basically I just used one of those 3-inch nails and went through the rim joist into the stud behind it. I think that's gonna be okay. But, hey man, these gnarly boards just keep biting us in the butt. All right, putting these things up is way harder than I thought it was gonna be. I feel like I need an extra hand. I need 3 hands, 3 arms, but because I don't have that, what I'm gonna do is drill this in and screw this in to the top. Because what's happening is I'm trying to attach the joist hanger. It's like floating up on me, and it's just kind of getting out of whack. So I'm gonna try to lock this in place with a screw. Now, pinch this guy, drive a screw in here. This is not how it's supposed to be done, folks, just in case you were wondering. Just enjoy my misery and find somebody that really knows how to do this. Woo! All right, we got all of our hangers on this side, and I will never be putting hangers up again after this rim joist is installed, because that's a pain in the butt, man. Let's do that on the ground. All right, guys, I've got an exciting update, and it all revolves around the reason why when we were hanging the plywood, why we didn't continue to go with the plywood down the stairwell. And that's because we found some issues that I thought could be catastrophic. I thought the stairwell wall potentially had moved, and that we might have to rip out the wall where the stairs were, and even potentially take the stairs out and redo everything. Let me show you why I thought that and what we did about it. So what I found when I was starting to just check for level to put up the drywall and see what we needed to shim or trim out, I was looking at this wall, which is the original stairwell wall, and the top of it is quite a bit in. So down here we ran a laser line, it was just even, but up at the top we were almost an inch out and the wall was facing in. So I thought that it might have been actually moving because the way that the stairs were built. But after we looked at it and we saw how everything was tied together, we realized it really couldn't move. So it was actually built that way. And we just didn't catch it until we started trying to hang plywood on it, because the issues were mostly up at the top and not down below where our line of sight was. So the builders came out, and I also talked to the truss manufacturers and some structural engineers. And after we all kind of looked at it and saw what was going on, we realized that actually it was not as big of a deal as I thought it was. thankfully. And the fix was building another wall. So we literally just built a partition wall about an inch off of the original wall. So the original wall is all still there and it's got the wiring in it. And that was one of the things I was really concerned about and why we couldn't get into electrical inspection for the rough-in, because I thought we might have to move the wiring, and we did. So we had to move all these outlet boxes from the original wall to this new partition wall. But now what this gives us is a nice straight and flat wall. And yes, I did check it with my level, and it's gonna be nice to put plywood on. We don't have to worry about doing any shimming or trimming or any of that. And this basically solves the entire issue. We did lose, about 4 inches off the width of the shop in this space, and I think I can live with that. So now we're basically ready for rough-in inspection, which is gonna unlock everything for us to be able to really get moving in this space. All right, we are back at it over here in the joist bay, and you guys saw me just struggle like crazy with that up in the air. That was the hard way. Here's how the easy way is gonna be to do it. So I've got the next rim joists, which is gonna be over there, and I'm gonna put the joist hangers on sitting right here. I have to imagine this is gonna be 1,000 times easier. So I'm gonna go ahead and get layout, and we'll see if that's actually true or not. That was substantially easier. I think I did all that in about 5 minutes. All right, I can also use our little joist hanger here because we're gonna be going up to the top of the top plate on this side. And I'm gonna use some support blocks to hold the board up. And I'll just use that to kind of eyeball where it needs to go. It's kind of these tips, like working by yourself. It's nice to just to have a little helping hand. Do one more at the other end and it'll bring it up. All right. Sip my knee. Now we can do it. All right, got a little bit overzealous there. Tell you what, cameraman Adam, why don't you grab the end of that and pull that up there for me. I can stop fighting leverage. There we go. Just like that, folks, working by yourself. Not all it's cracked up to be sometimes. All right, there we go. More issues with the framing, and so when I'm butting this guy up over here, you can see it's off by almost a ½ inch. We're talking, 3/8 over here, and if I push it up, it doesn't budge very much. So we're still well over a quarter, or probably 3/8 when I push it up, and probably ½ inch when I'm not. And that's because it's hitting the underside of these joists. And these joists are not, or these are Raptors, I guess. These Raptors are not bird mouthed, which I was thinking they might be. They're actually flat cut, but unfortunately they're cut at the wrong angle. So they're kind of cut like this. And so it's resting on the top plate, but the back end of it is now hitting on that. So I'm just gonna have to shave these because I don't want to have this mismatch over here in the corner, and it's just gonna mess everything up if I don't get this joist, this rim joist flush with the top plate. So I'm just gonna have to carve these up a little bit. And yeah, just another joy of dealing with the framing. I don't love doing that. That really doesn't feel right to me, but I guess it's just like a bird's mouth, right? All the weight's bearing over there, so that shouldn't have any effect. I'm just gonna have to do it to every single one of them. That's a pain in the butt. This is much better. It's not perfect down here, but you know, we're within 1/8 of an inch, which will be fine for the drywall. It won't crack or anything. And I trimmed all those up, so now we can just go ahead and attach them into the studs with the nailer. All right, that'll do. All right, that worked pretty well. So now I gotta grab the joist, and obviously I can't run my tape measure over there because it'll just fall down. So I'm gonna try to use one of these little laser pointer measuring distance dealios, and we're gonna see how accurate we are. So, let's see how it goes. 13 feet, 1 5/8 of an inch. Let's measure it on the other side of the rafter hanger, see what that says. 13 feet, 1 1/16. That's quite a bit of a difference. I don't like that at all. 13 feet, 1 1/16. 13 feet, 1 1/16. I like that. All right, I think that other one I was just kind of moving around. I think grabbing it with 2 hands and making sure it's nice and steady is the key. So I got the same measurement on both sides. Let's cut the joist and see how it fits. All right, 13 foot, 1 1/16. Safety first, kids. All right. Moment of truth. By the way, I hate that expression. I don't know why, I just do. I feel like it's overused. Well, this is the moment of truth. All right, let's see how this is gonna fit in here. Okay, that's in there. Oh! Hot dang! Boy, that, yeah, there's a little bit of wiggle. I didn't trust it, so I cut it just a little bit short. Heck yes, that's gonna work, folks. I think what I'm gonna do is just cut all these first and then come back and just nail them instead of coming up here, nailing, doing that. That makes a lot more sense. Cut them first. I am gonna check though, because I don't know that, I'm assuming we're not at the same measurement all across. So I'll keep checking those and just cut them and put them in place, and then just have a big nailing party all the way down each side. All right, we're looking good. That was tiring. All right, now I can nail in and cross stitch the joist there. And I'm gonna be using those 3-inch Tendy nails I talked about and this little palm nail. I've actually never used one of these, but it's pretty cool. It's basically a pneumatic nailer, and you set there, it's got a little magnet in there. And then as you press it, it just hammers it in. I believe these are very loud, so ear protection definitely needed. A lot easier than hammering. All right, we got the joist up in the CNC room. This actually really looks awesome. I love seeing how high it is. We're still gonna have plenty of ceiling clearance. It's only a foot less than the main shops. This is looking great. Yeah, I got another foot here. I'll just give it the beam a bit more. All right. All right, the CNC is back in place. It will have to move back out again, but again, it's pretty easy to do that. And now we can start finishing the rest of these joists. I'm gonna hit the rim joist, and we're just gonna go all the way down the rest of that bay. But that's gonna be for a future episode. Really happy with how things turned out today. Until next time, set a goal, get it done.